Welcome, everybody, to the Plastic Power Podcast. We are here with Starblast Studios and Garsin.
Yo, what's
And,
up, you guys?
How you guys
and
doing?
today, yes, we are welcoming you, all of you, with open arms to our podcast. But today we are going to be going over the second half of Chainsaw Man, so episodes 7 through 12. So pretty much the wrapping up of season 1. I like the second half a little bit more than the first half, and animation was still on point and everything. There was a lot of good fights in it. I felt like the last fight went a little too quick. Like it went super fast, but it was really awesome watching it. Like I was animated really well. It just went by super quick, but it was a really good finale. I really liked the finale, and then characters' relationships are starting to grow more. Power and Denji getting introduced to Katana Man, as we talked about last time, and he was a really badass character. But yeah, what did Starblast or Garson? Which one of you guys would like to go next? About
I'll go
how you
ahead and
thought of it?
I'll go ahead and take it from here. Okay, so me and Garson watched this together on on Discord when the final episode aired and such. So yes, they definitely went all out for the second half of the season. Like really well done animation and such. I'm pretty sure the CGI definitely for when Denji's in the Chainsaw Man form definitely improved as in comparison to how it was in the first episode. I remember Garson, you and me were specifically talking about that when the episode was aired when we were watching the episode together, and it's they definitely had a lot of significant improvements and such. Kobeni had a really interesting moment in the in what was it, episode 7, where she she basically took the knife and was able to handle that one girl in the red jacket who's sacrifices her fingernails or something like that to have demons fight for her. Apparently all you need is to give them your fingernails and they'll do whatever you want.
She the snake devil?
I don't know what kind of devil she's called. I just know that Garson, you might know.
She had a contract with the Snake Devil.
Okay,
That is called the Snake Devil.
Yes.
Then okay, well there you have it then. But yeah, she had a contract with the Snake.
Something I know more about than Starblast.
Oh my gosh. Well, they never really the thing about it is I didn't want to actually say it until we actually got direct confirmation as to what kind of devil it is and such. But yeah, that's the Snake Devil apparently, right there. I really like the episodes, that one final fight. Now, that we're talking about between Katana Man and Chainsaw Man, definitely took some notes from Spider-Man 2. With them being on top of the train and such. Dragon Ball Super Superhero did the exact same thing, but here it was really cool seeing them face off, going from building to building and then landing in on that train. That was great. That was awesome.
And then they fought not only on top but inside it too, which was cool.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
But yeah, that was great.
Garcin, I'll send it off to you. What is some points that you really enjoyed about the second half of the season?
Well, the second half of the season, it was story-wise, it was very captivating because it captured a lot of the characters' moments. As Daredevil was saying, the relationship character developments between Denji, Power, Aki, how he was able to get to see what life is not just about revenge in a sense, but to see what kind of people he could care about. After Himeno's death, he realized that what kind of a mission that he's going on to, because Himeno was warning him time and again that going after the gun devil was a suicide mission, that he would probably die at the end of the road. So he was constantly warning him, saying that don't do it. Let's change jobs as well. Let's go to a civilian sector where we don't have to go on this perilous journey. We can go on a safe road where we don't have to kill a bunch of people just for our living. So, but Aki was like, no, he was hell bent on revenge. And that I found was very interesting because in the final episode, episode 12, um, the cigarette which Himeno left for him was titled Easy Revenge, which
Yeah.
was poetic considering like what his journey was being all about. But at the same time, that attachment to Himeno triggered two things. That is, one is the the fact that okay, when he was introduced to Himeno for the first time, he didn't want to smoke. He just want to, like he
Which was
didn't have the taste
probably
for it.
better for his overall health and such. No one should smoke.
Exactly.
He's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
That's true because the thing is, a lot of aspects of Chainsaw Man, what it does, it reduces life expectancy or lifespan for many things, especially when you're joining as a devil hunter.
Yeah.
Your life is literally cut almost in half, or slightly even more than that, depending on how perilous your journey is. The cigarette also increases that as well. So at the first time when Himeno like passes on Aki the cigarette and he passes her the cigarette back saying that I don't want to smoke, that in a sense represents having power and control over his own life when he wants to like pass it over.
Yeah.
But when he accepts it, saying that okay, let me just smoke it just one time, then I don't want to do it for more time. That kind of represents that okay, I'm passing on a part of my life to someone else, saying that okay, that's why he used the words when when he was fighting against the Katana Man or someone. He was saying that I will join you soon, Himeno. In the sense,
Yeah.
he knew that he was about to die after using the sword like a couple of times. He only had like years remaining, so he knew that his end was very near compared to before. So many of these character moments, these kind of hidden details about what these small things represent, is what captivated me the most, more than the you know fireworks kind of action, which especially the last couple of episodes did much better than the initial episodes. Like especially with the last episode, I noticed that Mappa did a much better job in terms of the the frame rates. It wasn't slowing down any part of the time. It was almost one instance during the train scene where the Katana Man and Chainsaw Man were fighting. It almost the animation was so fluid. It almost seemed like those camera angles were mimicking some of the Attack on Titan 3D maneuver game portions where it was just swinging in different directions. That was very cool.
Which I'm not surprised of, because
And
like Mappa is also animating Attack on Titan, so a lot of the team who is working on there is probably also working on Chainsaw Man. There's definitely some of that stuff leaking into there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes,
What?
yep,
And,
yep,
and, and
exactly.
actually, I wanted to add in like another thing that you were talking about. So like my interpretation of the thing with the cigarette was like when it said get revenge. So I believe that Aki probably had. I feel like he had an internal conflict going on for what Himeno would have wanted him to do, if like as a result, like what Himeno would have wanted him to do, like after her passing. Like what she would want. And so like that cigarette saying get revenge was the best thing that he could have gotten from there, because it said, all right, well, you know what, like she would have been a total savage and wanted him to get revenge and live out his life like in the way that he would have wanted, which is why like towards the end of the story, when with the end of the season, right, when not the end of the story, it's still going on, like even in the manga, but like even as it's going at the end of the season, when Denji is like saying, "Hey, we're gonna have a competition. We're gonna see who makes this guy scream when we kick his balls." He's like he normally Aki would have been like, okay, this is not how I would go about this stuff, but because of that cigarette saying, get revenge, he's like, all right, you know what, screw it, let me just do that, all right, let's do that, let's see if we can make his screams like heard to him, all the way up in the heavens. It was it was such a interesting, like
Not like
I
him.
remember. Yeah, it was so unlike him, but it was also like it kind of goes to show like just how different Chainsaw Man is from a lot of the other animes and such. In which case they are just having a blast, kicking this guy's balls and torturing the crap out of him, which
Yeah.
really is not anything that would be promoted in any form of media and such. So it's
Yeah.
here. It's like they're actually they're encouraging like the act of like selfish. Like he's basically saying, you know what, do whatever you guys want. Is what the writer is saying. Like the
It was it was also a sense of bonding, the beginning of Aki and Denji bonding the first time, because the first time those two met, Denji was kicking his balls in the beginning,
oh
and
my gosh,
it,
it was. No, go ahead, keep going. That was a
yeah,
reaction.
yes, that was the beginning of their interaction, and Aki was so pissed off by that. Now they have a connection in a sense by a nut kicking contest, which is kind of funny and weird at the same time. But it also starts with their quirky characters, because Himeno recognized Denji to be a completely nut job. He knew he was crazy. He was the one who was at least fit to be tackling with the gun devil, because Kishibe Rohan, sorry, not Kishibe Rohan. Kishibe
Watching
was
JoJo Bizarre Adventure. Oh my gosh, bro.
Kishibe. Someone's confusion sort of names. But Kishibe was saying that only a person who is crazy or who is insane can, be a proper devil hunter. So Denji was kind of like Denji and Power, both of them were kind of introducing Aki to their world, to their crazy world where uh, they don't like they of course they want to abide by, like, they want to live off as normal lives. So Aki was trying to see how he kind of fits in, how he can have a life where he doesn't have to be so concerned, or doesn't feel had to be so anxietyful, because he only thinks about, okay, revenge, how do I take revenge against the gun devil. That was his entire goal. But now he sees new things, how I can have relationship with these guys and these characters. And we can see it's not adapted yet, but in the story later on you'll see how this is the beginning of a new phase for Aki, where he takes decisions where he wouldn't have normally taken it wasn't for the circumstances. So this is a striking point for Aki in a sense.
It's
I
like
see what you mean.
he's trying to live his life really to the fullest before time's up. And that was
Yep.
kind of like the little message too. Like I feel like it was like how you both saw it kind of like combined.
Yeah.
But
Now,
yeah.
now, Daredevil. I'm actually really curious about what you think of Katana Man, because I know that was like one of like your favorite like characters and such before. Well, you even ran into him because you really liked the look of the figure and such.
Yeah, I was curious to see how he was going to turn out. Love the voice for him in both English and Japanese. But I definitely thought he was no joke. Him and the Snake Devil Girl, they did not mess around, especially when we first get introduced to them, because that fight when he first fought Chainsaw Man, he chopped him in half. And then you had Snake Devil Girl come over and then bite the head off of I call him Top Knot. That was his ability, right? Or was that the Eye Patch Girls?
It was the ghost devil that she
Hey,
had a contract with.
Yeah, okay.
Himeno.
Okay, yeah.
Himeno. Yeah, you're talking about Himeno, right?
I might
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Okay, yeah, that Eye Patch Girl.
Yep.
That's her.
Yeah. And even when you first see Katana Man, you see him in his human form. And what were they calling him? The Gun Devil? That's what he is.
No, no. The Gun Devil's a
Who?
completely different thing. So so with Katana, hold on. Relation? You talking about? Hold on. What are you talking
Well,
about? Relationships with the Gun
when
Devil?
Katana Man's Katana Man, like when he has the blade out his face and his arms, he they call him Katana Man. But when he's in his human form, they were saying Gun Devil. Like they were calling him the.
No,
Mm.
no, he was not calling him the Gun Devil. He had both he and the Snake Devil girl. They had a contract with the Gun Devil to bring
Okay,
Denji's heart
okay,
to him, to bring Denji's heart to him in exchange for all these powers,
all
for the
right,
contracts.
okay, okay,
Yes.
okay. But
Yeah. So they
yeah,
had pieces of the Gun Devil with them, just like how the Eternity Devil did, in order to gain like these powers that they had.
yeah, okay. It's pretty much like how a lot of them have a deal with the Fox Devil, the good guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which definitely got like messed like completely taken after and, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting Aki after Aki like messed up like putting um the katana man into the fox devil's mouth. He's like, "What
And
did
it
you
was-
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Also, when you first see them come in there and attack everybody, Makima gets shot in the head, and I I'm not caught up on the manga
Mhm.
or anything, so at first I thought she was dead. I'm like, come on, like it caught me off guard. Then obviously she wasn't dead, but then they did it to Denji. I knew he wasn't gonna die, obviously. But I think there you learn more about Makima, and she is powerful,
She's very
very
scary.
powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very scary.
and I like her eyes. Her eyes are very. I'm always staring at her eyes when she's on the screen because they're drawn really cool looking.
Yeah,
But
definitely. Especially
yeah,
when you
yeah,
learn there's I like you won't know about this, but there's more like I think what you're saying like in that you're getting drawn to her eyes and such, like it actually
yeah.
has something to do with like
Do
her
with her.
powers, which will
Yeah,
which you'll eventually you'll find out later. Like
yeah,
when
yeah.
this if you were to read the manga or the story goes on and such.
I know season one's just the tip of the iceberg, pretty much for the manga. It's literally just starting. Like Katana Man was like a just a regular villain to get to the
Yeah,
more bigger.
exactly. Like
Yeah,
the moment that the shooting started in the train was literally
yeah,
just the beginning of the chaos.
yep,
Like the entire
yeah,
confusion shit going down was the beginning, and this is where from now on things would go probably even more not exactly equally bad. It probably got even worse in a sense. Yeah, it will get even worse,
yeah,
but that was the beginning in a sense. Okay, like this is what like Chainsaw Man isn't just like okay, you just kill her, you finish your mission, then you celebrate, finish your missions, then you celebrate. Yeah, that
yeah,
pattern would be that is a stop. That won't happen anymore. So that is where it is. And the thing is with Makima in that particular instance, it showed like how much of a enigma that she is basically is, especially with the how much fear that these devils had in his mind, like okay, what was actually going on, the fact that she was able to just name her victims and do some sort of like hand
yeah,
movements and literally crush their targets. It's like it was very frightening, like even for
Yeah. Like she's sacrificing the prisoners on death row in order to kill these people whose names they uttered. It's like it's such a
exactly.
weird power. It's such a terrifying power. And it's like how that whole thing, like how that whole thing works. Now, I also
yeah.
want to talk about something I don't see a lot of people mention. So, the training arc that that Power and Denji had with the I don't remember the name of the master who trained him, the devil
Kishibe.
Call him
hunter.
Scarface. What was it?
Kishibe. Yeah, Kishibe. So, uh, you actually like despite the fact like how much of how ruthless he is, you actually legitimately see Denji learn a lot from him, and this is very evident in
Yeah.
the final fight that he had with Katana Man. So one of the things that he said, so like he said, never trust a like Kishibe tells Denji never to trust a devil hunter, and he basically exemplifies this to when he says training is done, and then just like randomly throws a knife at Denji's head right afterwards, and then that's where he says never
Yeah.
trust a devil hunter. So the exact same thing happened where Denji actually made it seem to where he didn't have any like chainsaws like after like Katana Man like chopped off like his arms and such, right? So the only thing that we knew, he had the chainsaw on his head, so that Katana Man assuming, oh, like this is the only thing he has left. But of course, Denji hiding the fact that he's able to take out another chainsaw out of his legs, and you kind of use that to slice him up in half when he didn't expect it. That was good. Like him using that as an advantage point to take over Katana Man was, I think, really well done there in that, and seeing like a bit of like the fruition of the training that he had with Kishibe.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that
It
part.
all comes around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Now,
really
And
like that too.
Kishibe also, like he mentioned, that normally he would not, feel attached to his dogs, in a sense, the one who like he kind of trains, because he knew that the cycle of life. Okay, especially at this job, you will lose your life expectancy pretty easily. But in this case, he was able to feel a bit attached to Denji and Power, in a sense, like
mhm.
something that just struck to him,
Yeah.
probably because maybe he had some sort of hope that, okay, Denji, because he's immortal, maybe he will not die so easily, as opposed to others he kind of trained, and Power is kind of semi-immortal, so maybe she could also hang around. So maybe there's a reason for him to like stay a bit attached even in that age. You were saying that despite him knowing that people die very quickly, so uh it kind of shows to his, like, the notion that getting attached to people, at least in this universe, could lead to what Aki felt after Himeno died. He was tearing up profusely and seeing what kind of change could happen. So Kishibe kind of felt, it wasn't like he was usually a stoic guy. He doesn't feel that much emotions, but for the first time, he was feeling something more than that. Just like how Aki felt, at least with Himeno, uh, and later on with Denji in the Power, how attachment to one's peers could lead to either could be something which is positive, at least for the short term, but in the long term, how it could affect their lives as well. And going forward, Kishibe would learn something new in that sense.
Oh yeah, most certainly. Now, one of the other characters, and this was now I'm actually a little bit critical of how these characters were introduced, both in the manga and like in the anime. And I think the anime did it a little bit better, making these characters feel like they had more presence. But what I remember when reading the manga, what was it, the Shark Devil, the Angel Devil, and then there was another devil over there. I forgot what they're called. But all of these devils that were introduced fighting the zombies and such, to me, I don't know. I felt like their introduction did not have as much, oomph to it. Like they were just kind of there, just doing stuff all of a sudden. There wasn't really like any, introduct like and granted, Map, it's not, you can't really blame it on Mappa because they're being very they're being accurate to the anime, but you didn't really like have like any foreshadowing of these characters, and it's like it's kind of weird because I know that the Shark Devil later on in the manga becomes a very important character. Same with the Angel Devil, who's actually a dude. And it's just like, and really, it makes it to where I feel like their introductions is like, it's like, I know that the world of Chainsaw Man has like a lot more, and it's not hard to imagine that the Devil Hunter Corporation would have like a lot of other devils and such fighting for them under the different in the different sections and such. But it's like I wish that we could have had a little bit more like like set up to them, like maybe talking about it, and which really would entice us to see them before that they were actually seen. It's just something I'm a little bit nitpicky of. It's not the end of the world, but I, like, and granted though, like you can, someone can also disagree with me and say, oh, like, oh, the introduction could not have been any better because the first time that you see them in action killing zombies and doing stuff. So yeah.
Right, right. I do kind of agree with that, but saying that okay, they were just introduced by like narrated by Kishibe. Okay, these are the devils who are part of the devil hunter society. Okay, they were captured just like how the future devil was kind of captured. These devils also were captured at the same time. The spider devil, the angel devil, the you know beam, and everybody. So I mean, it's just their kind of quirky ways to see, okay, what they kind of because even the first time when the future devil was kind of introduced, he had a sort of menacing feeling, like when he was like even that ended at the cliffhanger as well in that episode. Later on, we see like he was like kind of like a goofy guy who was like, he was saying the future is here or something like that. He had a very goofy voice and everything. It was like
Yeah, he did.
Which makes sense
so
considering his
the
personality in the
introduction,
intro. He's like, "Wee" in the
yeah.
intro.
Having fun. He's just having fun over
Yeah,
there.
the
Exactly.
future.
He's like he's I
Stick your head in
felt
my stomach.
that he had like sort of a Ryuk-esque personality, Ryuk from Death Note, where he
Mm.
kind of enjoyed he's kind of enjoying what he saw in the future and looking forward to it. Like, just like Ryuk says, like humans are so interesting kind of a thing, and he's looking forward to see what happens, how this kind of plays out. The same future devil was also like after he saw Aki's future, he's like first time he's getting that much interest in someone's future, saying that willing to go into someone's eye for that. So that has a sense of real screening. But his introduction was a direct contrast to the introduction of these devils, where it is kind of like quirky, doing these guys are just doing their own killing and stuff, but then they end up being very important and become much more serious later in the future. So it's a good contrast between the two devils who started off serious but become kind of funny, but here it is like kind of funny but become serious later on.
Yeah, my man wanted a front row seat to all the stuff that was going to happen to Aki and stuff that's going to happen, later in the next seasons and such. Like, man, that's pretty funny. But yeah.
Yeah. That was a very odd devil, but he was interesting, the future devil.
hmm The other thing too is that I think it's very interesting because like the choreography, and I can't get enough, I can never get enough of this, but like the way that they choreograph like the walking and such, like as he's going into like this darker area with like the different cells and such. I'm honestly, I don't even know how those cells are even able to hold out the devils. It kind of makes you think like they're just there because they want to be, to form contracts and stuff. But it's like this super spooky like area in the I don't know why my camera's flashing so much, but like with all these different devils that people can just like take up different contracts with. And I think it's really cool the way that it's set up, and it's like it's really terrifying. I love like the atmosphere that's formed along, in the episodes that Mappa has been doing a very good job of forming with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you said that when they were walking, it was kind of looked like he was walking with some weight on his shoulders, like this he was walking like some kind of yeti or something. It was kind of odd, but yeah, that was a couple of few scenes here and there. So nothing that much I was thinking about, but yeah, that was one odd aspect in terms of movements, which was uh, not the only thing though, because even in the first initial episodes, the movements of Denji when he was fighting against the Bat Devil, he was also like when he was raising his hands, it was almost like he was shifting it between one position to another. So yeah, some aspects like this, it was kind of odd when Mappa was adapting it, but overall, at least they managed to make it consistent, at least during the other slice of life as scenes, as well as the action sequences that followed up later on to that. So
Most definitely. Now, Let's change gears for like a little bit. Now I'm gonna start off with you, Daredevil. So one of the big things that you talked about, well, like I remember you told me, was like you loved the English dub and the differences for like how they went about the dialogue and the voice cat acting and stuff. Like tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I liked most of the characters' dub voices. Denji's was all right, but like Katana Man had a great voice in both English and Japanese. A lot of characters both have really good voices in both dub and Japanese. One thing I really did like though, I know they did it in the sub in the beginning, but as I was watching it in the dub, I just hear and and then and I keep hearing.
Bro,
I'm like, whoa,
bro, we're
whoa.
trying to put this podcast on YouTube, man. We gotta you're gonna
Don't
have to
worry, I
censor
can
you're
bleep
gonna have to
it.
censor yourself out.
But it's like, whoa, what the hell is going on? It just caught me off guard, but I liked it. It's something something I really noticed about Chainsaw Man. It's very more mature, you know. It's not. I wouldn't say have young kids watch it,
No,
but
definitely
it's
not.
more for adults and teenagers. You know, like when I was a teenager, I'd watch it at like 14,
I'm sorry,
15
as
or
if
something
all
like
of
that.
that
But
blood and such like wasn't enough of a giveaway. Makima blowing off people's heads off and such with that. I'd say this is
that's
probably
not even the worst of it.
well, yeah. I'd say okay. Would you put this up there as like like a berserk level of like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
rating violence and
That's
such?
exactly where I would put it up with berserk
Yeah.
type dark. Like stuff can get dark in this anime, and the language they just talk however they want, which is I like that. And yeah, it's with how Berserk was, that Berserk is more for adults. A kid should not watch Berserk. And yeah, with Chainsaw Man, uh, I would have to say the same thing. Like, you don't want kids watching blood getting splattered everywhere. And then, of course, there's the adult kind of content. But yeah, it's I like watching animes that is more aimed for adults though, for that more mature audience. But yeah, I enjoy those types of anime. Like Berserk is one of my favorites of all time. So yeah, that's why I liked. That's something I really dug about Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, one other
Yes.
thing. Okay, I felt was interesting. I can't get too much of it, but the way that they hinted at like the next arc. Now you're not gonna get it, but for manga readers, they are. And like hinting at the story that's coming up, it makes me just like really excited. Okay, the outros, all of the outros up until this point have been like really interesting. I know that there was like a lot of like different ones. My favorite one, I think, was the out of them. I think was the one where with Aki he was like smoking, and they had all of this like different visualization and such with it, and the music behind it was like really good because it was a really nice outro that honored like him and Himeno. Like you can see like his it's like an outro basically representing all of the grief that he's having in there, and it really, I think, was an added bonus in there that I think really encapsulates how you feel for Aki. It makes a lot of people, I mean, it makes me definitely like much more like empathetic of Aki, and really like I think understanding of the character even more so. Like I like that stuff
You're
is
talking
highlighted
about
more.
the song by TK, right? The one who sang the song "Unraveled" by Tokyo Ghoul, the same singer. Yeah, I think that song you were referring to. That. Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, like I forgot. Okay, I don't remember the name of the thing. Yeah, it must have been that one, in that sense. I just like I really like that especially when because there's cool outros, right? There's the ones with the symbolisms, like with the horses and such, and then there's like the ones where they're kind of doing like all like these weird artistic stuff. But the outros that I really like the most are the ones that are representations and and like character studies, like go into like different aspects of characters, because they bring in different opportunities for new interpretations and such, new like understandings of characters you never you didn't maybe you didn't really like catch on to before, and it adds to the show. That's the kind of outros I like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
exactly when you say that. And for me as well, in terms of the additional scenes in the anime where they explore each of these characters in a very simplistic way. Like for example, Himeno just setting up her things just before entering into a room where Denji was lying down. All of and and he kind of wakes up like Denji-kun and all those kind of stuff. But and like even before that was Aki was just doing his kind of his daily life before like power like explodes into the room and all those kind of things. And then later on in the end of the season where Aki like takes up that easy revenge cigarette and smokes that, these kind of extra scenes which Mappa introduced in the anime, that added more context to what the character represents, what each character like, what they kind of going through from each thing. Like it makes us more attached in a sense. Like after seeing all those Himeno moments, you feel, even though what she kind of think is kind of questionable with Denji, but you kind of feel like what she was wanting to do with her life at the end before she passed on. So, and these kind of moments which Mappa introduced was feeling much more weight. And Aki, when he's at the end when he was smoking that cigarette, that which kind of symbolizes her, like, okay, her revenge has been fulfilled and he's slowly starting to move off from that revenge mentality, shows that okay, these are nuances which the animation did much better than the manga would feel. Like the
Yeah.
expressions of these things that adds weight to their character, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
Apart from the ending where it was a whole emotional roller coaster for all of these characters, like, especially when Himeno died and everything. It
Yeah.
was all of these character moments where it just, well, especially with the song which you're referring to, TK, where he sang that there was, he did the exact same thing with Unravel for Tokyo Ghoul, and he does the same thing again where you can just feel the weight for all of these characters. It was such beautiful.
Yeah. Now another
I mean,
outro.
just throughout
Okay.
throughout the series had good music.
No,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go. Okay. Oh, that. Yeah.
Oh no, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted
Now
to add
the other
that.
outro. Now this is like someone's favorite outro, but like, okay, so before the podcast, we were talking about the we were talking about like the infamous scene where Himeno threw up in Denji's mouth, and one outro did like definitely, if it wasn't already like if it wasn't already iconic before, like the one outro, anytime that part of the song continues, you see that like that 360 shot of that continuously happening. I'm just like why? It was already
I
like
loved it.
a thing they had to. I was laughing.
They
Like,
just wanted to sear it into your brain.
yeah, make
They
sure
want
that
to
everyone
they
knows that
want
this
to make it
happens.
frozen. Exactly. They just want to freeze in your brain. It's like, if you want to look at Chainsaw Man, this is the first thing you should remember. And with the kick here in the
Yeah, right.
background.
That Denji swallowed puke and then puked after. But I tell you, I've never seen anything in an anime that made me laugh but grossed me out at the same time. It was just, what the hell? That caught me so off guard. But I was laughing the whole time. So I was like, but laughing.
It was not only a traumatic experience for Denji, but also for a bunch of viewers as well. Who was like, who would have their first kiss, their first. I hope, like, especially during the New Year's, I hope nobody had a kiss like that. But
Oh God.
it was just be very, very funny with that kind of thing
can you
happened,
just
just for the viewers'
imagine?
experience.
Can you just imagine the excitement that people are getting for Denji? It's like, oh my god, I want to be in his shoes, and then just like instantly, just like boom, the barf comes out, and they just get their jaw just drops and just like disappointed, just like staring at the screen. What has just happened? Only for the outro to play and just like, hey, remember this scene, that took place in there? Here, let me make. I don't think you got enough of that. Let me make sure that this is etched into your mind.
You're gonna
Dude,
start.
the guy who was like consoling Denji as well, his name was Arai. He was also saying the same thing. He was like, I was very jealous of you, Denji. I want to put myself in your own shoes. And Denji's like, really, dude? I just swallowed a whole bunch of puke. Why you feel jealous of me, bro? What the
Oh my god.
Yeah, because he
hell? That
was
was
he was getting all the girls in their group, and then that happened. So, oh man, yeah. At first, I didn't realize he swallowed the puke until he was puking, and then said it. I'm like, no, no. So yeah,
the most funniest part. He was making fun. He was making fun of it in a flashback with some bunch of rats eating puke. He was like, hey, 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 look at these guys eating puke, and he's like, karma's like right back at you, bitch.
oh god.
That is that is just too funny. That's like one of the that's
Yeah,
gonna
that
make
was
it
a
that
very
entire scene is making Chainsaw Man unforgettable. As much as it is, it's one way
I
of
mean,
putting
that
it.
whole episode was kind of out there, but it
Yeah.
was a good episode. It was still funny.
Garson, the first thing that was going through my head, you're saying like, oh, okay, yeah, Himeno just wants to make the most out of her life because she has a very short lifespan, and I'm just like thinking, okay, yeah, the first thing she wants to do, like one of the last things she wants to do is like make out with a minor, and flirt with them, and almost get like yeah, wow, Himeno, like listen, the show really paints her as like a really like lovable character, but when you look at the type of stuff that she does, this thing that she's doing with Denji, and then getting Aki to start smoking. She's really not a
Bad
good
influence.
person. She's really not a
Bad influence.
good person. Very bad influence. Uh,
Yeah.
Indeed, that was there, but at least she had some sort of, you know, okay, no, well, not very that ill intention. At least she intended well for these characters, at least to live their lives off as at least normally as well. At that stage, she probably had no idea what she was thinking of doing, but at least she just wanted affection from these characters is what I think, because the fact that she told, like, after she wanted to die, at least she wanted Aki and the others to at least cry for her in that sense, at least to show that okay, she did not even feel that much of emotion when all the other partners died as well. So at least this time when I am passing, it's like okay, at least others should kind of show some emotions, at least at that time, shows that okay, she just wants to have a good friend relationship with all of these guys is what she's having the intention of, but it comes off in the wrong way. It comes in a completely and unwanted wrong way. So
yeah, definitely in that sense. Any final thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
well, for me is I can't wait for season 2. I was literally looking forward to Mappa announcing the second season as soon as the first one ended. But I just hope that they maintain the consistency of the quality of animation, the quality of the the substance that they're trying to push off with the moments, and especially how they are sticking to the source material very diligently more and more. I hope they continue. They just have to maintain it. That's it. They don't have to do very much extra. They don't have to bring on new like outros, just like they did with the season 1. If they just maintain the qualities for the second season, that should be just fine for that. And in respect to the storyline as well, it's going to get much more serious from here. I can just guarantee, like, probably anime only watchers won't be so ready in terms of like what's going to happen thenceforth and how these characters are going to grow from here. It's going to be so much more intense, and yep, just can't wait for the next portion.
Yeah, it gets like all. If you're a manga reader, you just know it's like we have not stepped into anything yet. It's just a bit of the taste of what's coming. Daryl,
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
mm-hmm,
That's why I was saying they just scratched the surface with season 1.
mm-hmm.
That's what my friend at work was telling me. So that it's just Katana Man's just the very start of it. So, but yeah, hopefully they do announce season 2 because they haven't yet, right?
Nope.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, that's going to happen, like, because they put, it's like the thing that we talked about in the previous episode. They put so much budget in to the animations, to the unique outros
Yeah.
that they put into, like, every single episode and such. It's just like, and it's just like the
And
they're kind of
promoting it.
required. Yeah. Well, they're required. They're definitely, like, at a point with season 2, they definitely are going to be needing higher quality animation and such for a lot of the scenes that are going to be like coming out like with the next season and such. And then the season after that, it gets even more intense. It's a very like high like it's a very demanding product that they're working with here. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how how the entire story gets adapted from the rest of from the from this point forward, and seeing how the story progresses, seeing how, seeing well, I know how the story progresses, but seeing how they adapt it and make it look in comparison to reading the manga and such, because there's one scene that I know happens at, like, I don't know, chapter like 800, like, sorry, chapter 85. I almost said 8. I don't know why I almost said 800.
800 and something.
No,
I was about to say, God, how far are they into
It's
it?
like he was like, I'm going way forward into the future with the future devil.
Maybe I have the future devil. You never know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like, actually, I did. That's how I knew Garsin was going to be here. Yeah. All right.
Welcome, everyone.
Yeah, but yeah, like I like, and if people know what I'm talking about regarding like stuff in the future, I mean, it's with the gun devil. When when more of that stuff happens with it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm looking forward to seeing that, like, like happen. But yeah,
Yeah.
that has been that is it for the this episode of the Chainsaw Man Plastic Power podcast thing. All right. Anyways, let me
Yeah.
know all your thoughts down in the comment section down below about what you thought of the season finale and such. This has been Garcine the Sane Nerd,
Yo.
Daredevil 19. We'll see you guys in the comment section. Till then.